With my lips, oh, it wasn't my wife. Did she truly have no idea? This isn't Mia. The overwhelming weight in my palms. The firm, rising curves that felt nothing like what I knew. A jolt of adrenaline shot through my veins, making my blood feel like it was flowing backward. In the pitch-black darkness of my own master bedroom, I was touching a woman I believed to be my wife. No, I hadn't just touched her. Moments before, I had pressed my lips to her in the most intimate of ways. With a trembling hand, I reached for the bedside lamp. The harsh light flooded the room, exposing every corner. And that's when I saw her, flushed, breathing heavily, and looking up at me, with eyes full of a strange, wet hunger. It wasn't my wife, Mia. It was her best friend, Sarah. Sarah? Her eyes held a mix of shock, confusion, and a deep, aching longing. My hands still held the vivid sensation of her skin, and her sweet scent lingered on my lips. How did this happen? Why was my wife's best friend lying in our master bed? Why did I commit such a mistake, thinking she was my wife? And why does this terrifying sin remain in my body as an unforgettable pleasure? Before we dive into the rest of this story, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from tonight. I wish you all the best of luck. I'm Mark Thompson. I'm 36, a typical corporate guy, working as a sales director for a mid-sized tech firm. I've been married to Mia for 8 years. We met in college, dated for 3 years, and built what looked like a stable life in the suburbs. But somewhere along the way, the spark died. We fell into the trap of routine, the kind of indifference where you're just roommates who share a mortgage. I never imagined my life would spiral into this kind of chaos. It was a Thursday. A company happy hour turned into a late-night bender. By the time I stumbled through my front door, it was past midnight. The house was dark. Mia's already asleep, I thought. When you've been married this long, you know the patterns. You don't even have to check. As I kicked off my shoes, a sudden playful impulse hit me. Our relationship had felt so cold. Lately just working, coming home, and scrolling through our phones. Until we fell asleep. I wanted to surprise her, to feel that heat again, like the old days. I stripped down in the dark shirt, pants, everything. My heart started to race. It was a high I hadn't felt in years. I crept into the bedroom, guided only by the faint moonlight through the curtains. I slid under the covers, feeling the warmth of a body already there. I started slow. My hand found the soft skin of her thigh. A small moan escaped her lips. I assumed she was just half asleep, and that encouraged me. I became bolder. Her skin felt incredibly smooth, smoother than usual. I figured she'd tried a new body lotion. My heart was pounding against my ribs, that trembling excitement. I thought I'd lost forever. I wanted more. I lowered my head, pressing my lips to her skin, moving upward with excruciating slowness. When I reached her most sensitive areas, I felt her body vibrate. Mia was never this reactive, but I told myself she was just loving the surprise. I explored her with my lips and tongue. A sweet, unfamiliar scent hit me, but I blamed the darkness and the alcohol. Her breathing turned into ragged gasps, and her hands gripped my hair with a strength that surprised me. It was primal. It was intense. I was drunk on the sheer passion of a woman who seemed to be losing her mind under my touch. Finally, I moved over her, ready to finish what I'd started. I reached out for her chest, and that was the moment. The weight, the fullness, the sheer volume. This isn't Mia. Mia had always been self-conscious about her small frame. But this woman, she was built differently. My blood ran cold. What the? I fumbled for the light. The light revealed the truth. Sarah, Mia's best friend. Her hair was a mess. Her face was red, with arousal, and her thin silk nightgown did nothing to hide her curves. Then, my phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from Mia sent hours ago that I'd missed. Hey, babe. Sarah's really depressed about her divorce, so I told her she could crash in our guest room tonight. I'm staying out late with the girls. See you in the morning. The phone slipped from my hand. Mia wasn't home. Sarah hadn't used the guest room. She'd fallen asleep in the master bed. And I'm so sorry. I had no idea, I stammered, throwing on a robe to cover myself. Sarah remained silent, staring at me. In her eyes, I saw something more terrifying than my own guilt. I saw thirst, because even as I apologized, I could still feel the phantom heat of her body on my lips. I didn't sleep a second that night. I sat on the living room sofa, replaying the scene over and over. The guilt was crushing, but the Sensation, the sheer intensity Sarah had. Shown was a drug that my body refused to vomit out. At 1:30 a.m., Sarah walked into the living room wrapped in a long cardigan. "Can't sleep?" she asked. Her voice was lower, hushed. "No." "Sarah, I'm so sorry. I thought Mia was home." "It's okay," she whispered, sitting on the opposite end of the couch. The AC in the guest room was broken. Mia told me to use the master bed since she was staying out. We thought it would be fine. A thick silence followed. But it wasn't just awkwardness. It was heat. "Mark, can I be honest with you?" Sarah looked up. "I've been married for 10 years. And for 10 years, my husband never looked at me. Not really. He had no interest in me as a woman. I felt like I was drying up inside." She started to cry. "That's why I'm getting the divorce." I was starving for affection. "And tonight, what you did. It's the first time in a decade I felt wanted. The way you touched me. It was so gentle, so desperate. I couldn't help myself." I confessed, too. Mia and I. We've been roommates for years. It's just routine now. I felt like I was disappearing. Sarah stood up and walked toward me. "I feel like I'm going crazy. 10 years of drought, and tonight was the first time I felt rain. Mark, just once more. I want to quench this thirst. Don't you feel it too?" I couldn't answer with words. My body had already said yes. "Mia won't be back until 300 a.m., I whispered. "We have an hour and a half." The next morning, the sun hit the living room. Mia came home late and was sleeping soundly. In the bedroom, oblivious to everything. Sarah appeared, dressed and ready to leave. "Mark, do you regret it?" "I'm afraid to answer that," I said. "I don't," she said firmly. "In fact, I want more." "One more time." "In the master bed, where she sleeps every night. I want to feel you there." The betrayal was absolute, but that was the spice. We went back into the room while the sun was high, surrounded by Mia's things, her perfume, our wedding photos. The guilt made the pleasure razor sharp. When Sarah finally left on Monday morning, Mia hugged her at the door. "Thanks for being there for her, Mark," Mia said, kissing my cheek. "We should always be this close." I lied. I told her I loved her. But I realized then I have to carry this secret to my grave. Every time I look at my wife, every time I lie in that bed, I will remember the 48 hours I spent with her best friend. The heat, the scent, the sin. It's a poison in my heart, but it's a poison that tastes like honey. I'm Mark Thompson, a good husband, a corporate guy, and a liar who will take this forbidden memory to the darkness of the afterlife. Routine isn't the end of a relationship, but it's a warning sign. Don't let the silence drive you to break the rules. Talk to your partner before the thirst becomes too much to handle. What would you have done in my shoes? Tell me in the comments. And if you want to hear more stories like this, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.